guys, this is Rosa Kelly. Welcome back to my channel and to a new day on the 12 days of Christmas. So the challenge for today is to create a project using a snowman, and I could not find a snowman on my whole stash, but luckily enough I remember that I had these vintage Christmas cards or postcards, and this one has a snowman on the cover, so I'm gonna be using this one. And then I also have here some cardstock. Only found these pieces of cardstock that kind of match the little card, and I do have some tea dye paper or coffee dye paper that I'm going to be using. And then I do have some of these little paper bags here as well. They're red and Christmassy, so I think they will be fun options to add to this super easy little journal as well. So if you have never made a journal before, this is gonna be a really easy tutorial, a really easy way to make one, so maybe you can give it a try. Now if you don't have the tea dye paper or coffee dye paper, feel free to use any regular paper, printer paper, any cardstock paper. Maybe if you have some double-sided cardstock that you can use also. What this is just simply some printer paper that I went ahead and dip on some tea, and then I put in the oven to dry. So if you do that, you want to make a batch of tea, and then just go ahead and dip. You can dip 3 or maybe 2 or 3 pages at the same time, and then just go ahead and make them all wet, and then you put them on cooking sheets on your oven for maybe 10 minutes, and then if they're not dry, you can turn them around and do another 5 minutes or so. And I do put them on the oven at 200 degrees. And so yeah, so it's super easy to make. So when I make my tea paper, I make batches, and so I always have something ready here because it's super easy and practical to make these type of journals. And if you're making little projects for craft fairs, this is also a really good option as well. So now for this journal, I'm also going to be using some vintage photo to kind of distress the pages a little bit. And then you want a piece of either twine or yarn to do the binding. And so I am gonna use this twine here. It's kind of like a gold twine, and then an embroidery needle as well. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is use our cardstock. This is what is going to be on the cover, and this is going to be the inside cover. So we are going to cut these 2 pieces at 8.5 here. Okay, and then I'm going to do this at 11 and 11.25. Okay, so you want the covers to be a little bit bigger than your regular inside pages. Okay, so 8.5 by 11.25, and we are going to fold this in half here. Okay, and then of course we're gonna fold this one in half as well. So I'm gonna do this one like that. Okay, and then we are going to glue these together. Now if you want to have a little pocket here on the side, you want to glue it on, you want to glue only the top and bottom, or if you want to have a top pocket, you want to glue only the bottom and the side. But I am going to go ahead and just close everything up. I don't want the pocket here. Okay, so I'm just gonna add my glue, and let's see if these two can kind of match. Okay, and then I'm going to glue this here, and I do it this way because if you glue them back to back and then fold them in half, then you're gonna get a lump on the center. So you kind of want to fold them, and notice that I fold one in and one out, so the white is facing each other here. Okay, so there we go. So now we have the pieces glued back to back. You may see this white little border, so what I'm going to do is just kind of just take that out, or you can just simply use your ink to take care of all of that white. But I'm just gonna take a tiny bit here as well. Okay, so now we have the cover basically, and I'm just going to go ahead and ink. Also, you may see that the side of the paper, there's a little white space, so it's always nice to kind of get all of that cover. Okay, so we're just gonna do this, go all the way around. Okay, and one thing that I really like on my journals is to kind of sew around. If this is your first time making this type of easy journals, you don't have to sew. We already glue this. You can only sew if like you like the look of it, which is what I like to do. And it's also really easy to sew on paper. I remember at the beginning I was always really intimidated by sewing on paper, but it's actually really easy, and to me it's a little bit easier even than sewing on fabric, because paper just goes straight, and the fabric sometimes you have to hold it so it doesn't move around, and you know, things like that. It's just a matter of getting used to it. And there we go. So now that I have everything inked, I am going to go ahead and just add a simple stitch all around my page. So here is my stitching that I did all the way around, and instead of going all around like that, I just went ahead and did each panel here. And okay, so now we're gonna add the snowman. So first I was thinking about just simply gluing this on the cover and maybe backing that up on this color cardstock to kind of you know, have a little frame around it. But then as I was sewing this, I kind of thought about maybe opening a window here and then having the snowman on the inside, and then we kind of have this little peekaboo window, and I really like that idea. So I am going to be using maybe a circle die. I don't know which one yet. I have two different sizes, so either that one or maybe this one. And so I think maybe this bigger one is going to be the better option, and so I'm gonna put it somewhere over here, and I'm going to see, I haven't done this before where I only want to cut on one side, and I don't know what to do with the other side so it doesn't get cut, but let's see, we're gonna figure it out here, I guess, together. So what I can do maybe is kind of wrap this there. Okay, that could be an option here, and that way we only cut on this. There you go. Okay, so we're gonna do that, and then I want to cut the circle maybe on the upper side right there. Okay, so I'm gonna put this one here on top. You could use some washi tape to kind of make sure the circle is not moving, but I'm afraid of peeling out my paper. Actually, maybe I can do it on the inside. So let me use some of this washi, see if I can get this out. Okay, here we go. Okay, so just maybe a tiny piece, and we can put the washi towards the inside where we're gonna take it out instead of possibly damaging your cardstock. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that right there, and now we can go ahead and pass this through the die cut machine. And somebody asked me which die cut I use or recommend, and I have been using this. This is the Cricut cattle bag, and it's a good one, but to be honest, I like it because it's practical. You can fold it and it's easy to move from place to place, but I also like that Little Birdie Craft is called the Dream Cut machine, and I like that one because it's a lot more sturdy than this one. See how this one moves? So the other one, I basically just have it on my sitting on my die cutting table. This one I use when I'm recording, that way I can just bring it up here on the table really quick. But let me show you the other one. So this one is a Dream Cut. It is heavier, so it's a lot more sturdy, and it doesn't fold the sides. So I always keep this one on my cutting table, and it's again, it goes faster, it's a lot sturdy, and it is heavier, so it's not moving around. But for recording I use the other one. So there you go. Little review of cutters. So now let's go ahead and take these out. Okay, so I don't need these anymore, and we can take these out here. Oh, I love how this looks. Now we have our window, and I am going to just ink around here. I'm just gonna do that. So I really like seeing that dark side, and then this one we're just gonna do the same really quick. You don't see it as much on this side, but as long as you don't see the white. Okay, so now for the pages, I am using, like I said, regular printer paper, and this is 8.5 by 11. So what I'm going to do is just simply fold these pages on half, and I'm folding one at a time so I can get that folding sides really flat instead of folding them all together. Okay, now to this step, you can also mix it up with some cardstock. You can add some magazine cutouts, children's books, also a really pretty option to add here. I'm gonna keep mine plain, and then I can build into that. Okay, so I have about, let's see, 2, 4, 6. I don't want this to be a big journal because it's gonna be my Christmas journal. I'm already making or doing a December daily. So for me, December daily is more about like the pictures and the things we do, and my little journals are about just documenting my feelings and memories and things like that. I don't know, I just like having different ways to journal and document. Okay, so there we go. So we are gonna add those right on the center like that. Now, since I didn't use these to kind of have that frame, I think I'm gonna use it as one of the pages here. I'm actually not sure though, because I don't know if I will like, maybe we can have it for the opening page, and then we can glue him right there. Okay, or you can simply glue straight onto that, you know. But I'm just gonna cut this page, and so now this one I am going to cut also at 8.5 here. Okay, and I'm just gonna do this by 11. Okay, and then just simply again fold in half. Okay, so there we go. So that's gonna go as part of our signature page right here. And I am going to ink this page around also, okay, just to kind of give it a bit of color. I don't like that the back is white. I might have to glue another paper on top, but for now we're just gonna leave it like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly ink all here. Okay. And we're kind of building our signature. Now, another thing that you want to do before you do the binding, it's if you have any envelopes or paper bags like this that you want to add, we can go ahead and do that at this point. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of take this piece out. So let's kind of go like that. I just want the flat pocket part, and then you also want to make sure they're open on both sides, right? And then we can also fold this in half, just like that. And then we can add these throughout some of the pages if you want to have like a little pocket there. We can have one of those. Okay, so I also went ahead and stitch here on the side, so we add just a little bit more of that red thread. Okay, so we have that signature ready, and we have this one ready here as well. And what I'm going to do is just simply poke my holes now. And before I poke the holes though, you want to have your threads ready. And so I am going to use my needle and my thread, or twine in this case, and then we're just going to go ahead and put this here. Okay, let me cut this. You want one side longer, of course, so I'm just going to pull one. Okay, so here's my poke tool, and I'm just gonna poke a hole here at the center of my book, and then I'm going to do the top and the bottom. So I'm just gonna go here between this center and this edge. I'm just gonna go right there. Okay, and then same thing on this side. I'm gonna go right at the center between those two. And it's a lot easier when it's just one signature, because you know you can't go wrong. Sometimes when you have two or three and you want to make sure they all kind of match on the spine, that's when you kind of have to start measuring and things like that. Okay, so we're gonna go start at the center, make sure they're lined up together, and then you want to make sure you have a really long tail there. And then we're gonna turn this around. Let's see, we can go along the top. Okay, and it really helps when we have those holes pre-made, because now we can even see where they are. Even if we move the pages, they will all come out even. Okay, so I just want to make sure I put all of them like that. Okay, so let's see, I got those. This one over here. Okay, so you can see the little hole, and there you go. So now I'm just gonna go out, and now I'm gonna even this up a bit, and then we're gonna go down the last hole. Okay, so again, you want your tail always at the center, and that one's a lot easier. And then from the back, we're gonna come back to the same center. Okay, now when you take this out, you want to make sure your needle, it's on the other side of that center line. So we have this one on this side, and you want your other one to come out to the other side, so you have this long one going down the middle. Okay, so now we're just gonna cut that and simply tie this. Okay, so we're gonna make a knot right there. You can trim this, or you can leave it long like that and just kind of hang a little charm from that edge. And so there we go. So now we have that, and the last thing that I'm going to add is my image here. Okay, so we're gonna glue that one, and I want to make sure I have this cute little peekaboo right there. I love how this looks. Okay, so he's gonna go right here, so I want to make sure I don't move it. Just go like that, glue that, and glue this here. Okay, so I glue kind of like this and like that, and I do want to keep that top open so we can maybe add a little tag. So I have here some of these tags, and let's see, maybe we can add this one that says to and from. That will be a cute little tag to have up there also. I might stitch this around maybe later on, we'll see. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more glue right there. And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to ink all around this postcard here. So I don't know if I can do it at this point, but I guess it's okay. Just gonna go around a little bit like that. Okay, and so there we go. Super easy, super cute and fun to make. Maybe I can even add a little plate. So I have some book plates, and let's see, we can add one of these here and just kind of put the year for this cute little journal. I love this little journal already. So I'm not gonna use the oval because we have a circle. So to balance that out, I'm gonna use this one. I wonder if I should use that on the background. Let me see if I have a bunch of these little tags. So let's see, maybe we can put this one. Let's see, how would that look? Yeah, I don't think I like that, but I do like this. So I'm going to cut this like that. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of pencil mark here. Speaking of vintage, look at my pencil. This reminds me of school. Okay, so I'm just gonna mark where I'm going to cut this, and we can put in here 2022, or just leave it empty for if you're giving this as a gift. Whoever can just put their own title in there, and there you go. So I think I'm just gonna glue it just so we can see how it looks. Okay, so I'm just gonna add my glue all around, put my plate right there, and here's the back, and then I'm just going to glue this whole piece. Okay, lots of glue, and I'm also gonna add glue on the metal, and we are going to add this. Oops, here's the hard part. Where do we put this? Maybe right at the center. Okay, so super cute. I love it. Okay, so I'm just gonna hold this down for a second to dry. And these metal plates are Tim Holtz. I think they come in a pack. I'm actually not very sure, but there might be two different packs. This might be one pack, this might be another one. So these are just from my stash, but you can find those on the Tim Holtz sections at Michael's or Joann's. I think they both have them. And so there you go. Here is my super cute vintage little journal. Super easy to make, very simple. The pages are very plain. We have these little paper bags where we can add some of these little tags and just kind of have fun. You know, the funnest part of the journals for me is kind of like filling this with pockets and memories and collage pages and things like that. But I do like starting with a blank canvas, and it's just really fun to kind of journal and document. And yeah, so again, this will be a really fun and easy craft for idea, gift idea. I hope that you guys enjoy the tutorial, and don't forget to visit my friend Debbie. Don't forget to comment on this video to be part of the giveaway, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.